Is This a Ghost is sponsored by Pinkney Bend. Clayton, I have a question for you.
I can't wait.
Were you listening last week?
No.
Were you? How involved were you last week?
20%.
I don't watch the video very much, so I've got a lot of things up on the screen right now, so I couldn't tell how close you were paying attention. But
I read from a script, so I pay almost no attention to you and your words. It's all notes for me, friend. So
just waiting for the silence, and then I come right back in.
I leave some gaps, and sometimes you fill them, and sometimes not. And that's the extent of my my paying attention. Why do you ask?
I was wondering if maybe you noticed last week. You gave me a challenge, right? You challenged me to determine what was in Pinkney Bend's classic Floridora cocktail.
Well, as I recall, I think you offered to suggest what was in the cocktail.
Again, I was just filling time. I really don't. Sure. I think that was that was a mutually beneficial decision there. So I figured this week it might be fun if I, turned the tables on you and challenged you to identify the ingredients of a classic Pinkney Bend cocktail.
I was wondering why you did the intro this time, because I think this is the first time you've ever introed the ad.
It is. Yeah. Did I do it right? I didn't. I blacked out a little bit.
It's fine.
Okay, great.
B minus, but yeah, go on.
It's good.
It's fine. Jeremy will fix it in post. Go on.
So I am going to see how accurate you can get on one of. I'm going to give you the base. I'll give you the base liquor. I think that's fair. Okay. Because there's like 1,500 recipes on here.
Is it salt water?
It's only fair. It is. So I am, again, don't jump ahead, please. The base liquor, here is the Navy Strength Gin. That guy right there. Oh God,
he is a beaut.
Absolute danger. Okay. That's your base liquor, and the name of the cocktail is the Pall Mall.
The Pall Mall.
Paul, like the.
So this is don't. Yeah. Okay. Don't. So that's where I'm going. Okay.
I'm just giving you spelling, just spelling it for you, just so you know things like a mall. Yeah. Like a mall where only.
So it's got
people named Paul can go. It's not that.
Yeah. No. That. Right. The PALL mall.
The Paul. Yeah.
Mall for the Pauls.
Yeah, so just the mall for
people. It's a mall for pallbearers. It's like if you're having a funeral, this is the place you want to shop.
Like, maybe we got to bury grandma, but only like 2 people really liked her. Well, you know where you got to stop on the way over then, I guess. Stop at the...
But I do need some nice socks and a new shirt for Christmas. Can we stop there first?
And 4 strapping young lads.
Okay, Pall Mall. So the base liquor, I'm going to guess, is probably their Navy Strength Gin. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, that was...
Okay, good. Yeah, so we're on the right track. Good.
You just barely nailed that one, though.
Next is cigarettes. Clear. It's got to be cigarettes.
Second,
and not just cigarettes. And it doesn't have to be Pall Mall cigarettes. It can be any cigarettes, but there has to be used cigarettes that you then you put out in the drink. So you lit them, you smoke them for a while, you're done, then you go into the drink.
Okay.
You need 3 of those.
What kind of,
obviously Pall Mall.
You're close. Okay. What kind of attitude do you put the cigarettes out with? You can't just like put a cigarette out like casually. True. Yeah. What's the attitude there?
I think there are 2 options. I think the most powerful one, the one that's going to give you the best cocktail, is going to be the kind of eye rolling, like, you're so stupid. That's number 1. But the second one is fury. Total, absolute, just such anger, and you stab it a few times. Now, the reason that's not going to be as good a cocktail is because the ash is going to mix. It's going to agitate in a way that you're rancid. Not too.
It's already rancid. Yeah,
and it's too agitated in that sense, as you are when you're doing that. So that's why it's not like the ideal, but it's also acceptable depending on your which part of the country you're in. I think is the difference.
Okay.
So it's those. So it's a gin, it's cigarettes, Pall Mall, obviously preferred. Lucky Strike is also great.
Yeah, let me check. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Go on. Yep.
Okay. So those are your base layers. Gosh, what else are you going to have? You are going to have something that's 300 proof. Not a lot of it, but like a dash of literal gasoline, I think.
Okay.
Is in this, because if you're putting these cigarettes out, it's a And I want to be clear, you want to do the cigarettes first, because the higher proof this drink gets, the more dangerous that becomes. So you're gonna do cigarette actually first in the glass, then Pick Me Ben.
Mullet. You got to mull it.
Yeah,
are we mulling it? Okay.
That's fine. You're muddling, and then you're doing that, and then so the gin, and then just a dash of gasoline. Not too much. You don't want to consume too much of that. It's dangerous for you, but it's gonna give you that little bit of like a sousson of that little mwah. So that's good. So you want that. You are gonna want to cut it with, I think, lemon juice. I think is nice, kind of like
I'm
citrus.
so sorry.
No?
I'm so sorry. Creme de menthe. I'm very sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. You everything else though, dead nuts. Dead nuts.
God. Okay. Okay.
Anyway,
okay. I can accept that criticism. Next week we'll try again.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to drink that, you can. Oh, sorry. This is your ad. You. This is your thing to do. Go ahead.
So if you would like to try Clayton's attempt at the Pall Mall, well, you can most likely just make it from things you have around the house, assuming you stop off at Pinckney Ben's beautiful distillery in New Haven, Missouri, and pick up your own bottle of Navy Strength gin, and maybe stop off at the BP and get your dash.
Can I tell you, by the way, if you don't get the Navy Strength gin, if you get the regular gin, which is also delicious, you are going to need to double your gasoline intake.
Okay, all right. It's like baking. It's all proportions.
Correct.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Makes sense. Visit our friends at pinckneyben.com. PINCKNEYBEND.com. Maybe a www in front of it, but that's how you get there. And if they don't currently sell Navy Strength gin in your state or province or cell block, then just write them a really nice letter. Maybe you get to write a couple letters a month if you're good, and make sure one of them is destined for Tara.
And if that doesn't,
if she loves getting letters,
if
she really does.
She does. And if that doesn't work, just siphon more gasoline. So the gasoline is the important part.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like the less Navy Strength gin you have, the more gasoline you need, and that'll do it for you. No problems. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Is This a Ghost? My name is Clayton Smith, and every week I tell a real ghost story from real history to my real friend, Patrick Dean, who doesn't take it real seriously. Hell yeah. 2 in a row. That's 2 in a row, my friend.
I have a pen this week, too.
You do? I know, it's great. I dropped mine. Sorry.
The only one who was at the pen.
Hold on. I'm so thrown off. It's nice to have a pen, right?
It is.
Is it Letterman who was always like throwing a pen around?
Yep.
It's good. It's good. If you're on YouTube right now, you're going to love this.
Yeah. I think it was the older Bush.
Oh, that was a pen. And Bob Dole.
No, I'm sorry, Dole. You're right. It was Dole.
Because he had a hand thing, I think, right? He was
yes, like it didn't work.
An injury. Yeah. Yes, that's the shorthand for it. But anyway, this is a podcast where we talk about ghost stories, and
we both have pens. We both have pens.
Well, you have a marker, I think.
What is this? It is a marker.
It's a marker. So
sorry.
I
don't actually have a pen. Sorry.
I have. Look at how many pens I have. I have so many pens here and pencils. Would you like to borrow one?
No. Well, wait, hang on. Yeah, the red one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, give me the red one.
There you go.
Thank you. Got it.
There it is. Great. So, gosh, okay. So before we get too deep into the episode, I did want to ask you if there was something I wanted to share about my life. Don't make that face. This is fine. But I was wondering if I could take a minute to be kind of vulnerable. And I just wanted to ask you, like, is this, yes. Would you say, is this like a safe space for me to kind of, to do that, to be vulnerable and kind of share?
I got time.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I'm not busy.
So, as you know, and as some listeners know, my full-time job that actually pays me money, which is not the podcast, is I'm a college professor. Mm-hmm. And for those of you who are newer to this podcast and whose mouths just fell open in shock, yes, that's correct. I am a college professor.
Shaping America's youth.
Really. I am shaping the future of tomorrow, believe it or not. And I run the marketing degree program at Columbia College Chicago. So, hey, if you've got a forward-looking, soon-to-be college student in your life, I swear I'm an academic. You should send them to Columbia. They could come to my class and I could teach them about marketing and also ghosts, which I think are two subjects that really complement each other. Anyway, so I am a professor, and this semester we're 5 weeks in. We're a third of the way in this semester, and there's a couple like scheduling snafus and stuff, and it's insider baseball. But the long and short of it is, so this semester I ended up being scheduled to teach a Friday class. I teach on Fridays now at 9 a.m. this semester, and now that I've done it for 4 weeks, this will be my 5th week. I can't go to work on Fridays anymore. I can't work on how do people work on Fridays? This is what I want to be vulnerable about. I don't know how people do it. And you have to understand, I have been teaching here for a decade now, full time. I have not worked on a Friday. This is my first Friday class ever. I have not worked on a Friday since 2013. That is real. And now I am going into work on Fridays and I am exhausted. And I think we should just not allow anyone to work on Fridays. Do you have any thoughts on this?
So normally I would say like, oh, so you're suggesting a 4-day work week. But no. I know that's not true because your work week currently is 2 days.
Yeah, because I currently don't teach on Monday and I don't want to start. So what I want to do, I don't know how we're expected to do it. And it's really, I find myself, and this is true, I find myself very exhausted this semester, like very tired, because I am teaching for a few hours on a Friday for the first time in 10 years. I'm going to a place and doing stuff, and I'm not cut out for it.
Gosh,
just say it. I'm not cut out for it. Man. I used to think I was. I'm not.
I mean, I assume Erin has a lot of sympathy for you. I mean, has she been like taping The Price is Right for you and stuff?
We don't talk about it a whole lot.
It's one of the, okay. It's one of these like, I've been going down to the OTB on Fridays and she thinks I've been going to work. So I can't complain now.
No, well, no. She knows, look, when I'm not at work, I am very transparent about the fact that I am napping. And I've always been clear with her about
and
that.
Vocal and very loud.
Yeah. I nap loudly. I want her to know, and she knows because most of the time she works from home as well. Her job is hybrid, so she knows, and I'm not trying to hide that from her. What I'm saying is, napping is what Fridays are for. And what I'm learning now is like, if you have to work on a Friday, it's inhumane. I don't like it, and
when does napping happen? Right.
When does napping happen? Exactly. Thank you. Exactly. I get a nap on Mondays. So what is my other napping day? Sometimes Wednesdays, because I don't teach on Wednesdays either this semester. But when else am I napping? Mondays, Wednesdays, Saturdays, Sundays, and when else? This is not sustainable. It's not sustainable.
Just so I'm clear.
Go ahead.
Just so I'm clear, before this, I'm gonna say tragedy.
Thank
your
you.
Schedule on Fridays consisted of, I would imagine, waking up maybe 20 minutes before you need to leave the house, so that you
leave the house.
Yeah. So you can take both your children to daycare.
Oh yes. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Sometimes we alternate.
Right. Of course. Yeah. But
Erin and I both work really hard, so we alternate every other day. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So your Friday schedule was drop off both your children at daycare, come home. And then it's kind of like a gray area until pickup. Is that what way it works?
I wouldn't call it a gray area. I would call it nap time.
It's fairly black and white.
And
okay,
then,
that's fine.
Hey, listen.
I just want to make sure our listeners are getting the full story.
I do things. I do dishes. I clean the house. I pick up stuff.
You do dishes. You do dishes for 7 hours on a Friday.
I like doing dishes. Actually, I do dishes.
You do like the neighborhood's dishes? What are you talking about?
Why it doesn't take the whole Friday, but we don't have a dishwasher, so it takes longer than you would think.
Okay, that's fair.
We live in a bad house. And so that's part of the time.
The dishes are dirty the moment they go back in the cabinet, and they got to come right back out. I don't make the rules here.
It's true. So I don't know. So I'm just saying, I recognize that most people work most days of the week, and I respect that very much. What I'm saying is, you spend 10 years doing something, and then suddenly you're thrown into something else. That's tough. It's tough, and I'm tired. I'm wearing my glasses tonight because my eyes are so tired because I've been exhausted from working on Fridays. We can't work. We can't do this, everybody. I know. Hey, everyone, let's all unionize together. You can't work on Fridays or Mondays, or in my case, Wednesdays. You can't do it. Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's the time. Every other day, no. I'm putting my foot down.
I'm trying to figure out like which color little ribbon pin you're going to get for this cause. I'm thinking like,
it's a good question.
Like gray, maybe just like gray seems like a good napping.
You're pretty hung up on this whole like gray times. Gray. I don't. Do you nap gray? I don't nap gray. I nap in vibrant color. My dreams. Let me tell you something about my dreams. I dream mostly about things like vampires and elevators being sabotaged by secret spies and superheroes. I have a recurring dream where I am Spider-Man and I web sling around the city.
Goodness gracious.
I have actually a semi-recurring dream. It's been a while, but I've had it a few times where you and I are vampire hunters that go into a crypt under the ground.
Oh, okay.
And we hunt vampires with stakes and everything. That's how I dream. And so it's great. This is part of the reason why I like napping so much, because if I'm going to dream, it's going to be a real cool dream.
It's like turning on one of the weird channels on Roku, like the ones where you're like, I don't think anybody in the world is watching this right now. Oh my,
it's Tubu or whatever, you know. Like, this is going to be free for about 36 hours until the FCC is like, I don't think we can allow this. That's my dreams.
Cease and desist at Tubu 7. Like, yeah, well, Tubu 7 was fun while it lasted, but
Tubu 8, here we come. Anyway, so I'm just wrecked. I'm wrecked. I'm tired. I work on Fridays now. And
Friday was 5 days ago, by the way. I don't know if you're keeping track.
God, what day is it?
I know, right?
Oh God. Oh fuck. That means
Coming
there's
up
another
again,
Friday and 2 more days.
Not pretty.
It's not. So anyway, thank you for letting me vent a little bit.
I have time.
Our academic manager recently was like, we're getting the spring schedule together. Please, send me your preferences for class. And I, in my email to her, I had some bullets of like, here are the classes I'd like to teach. Here's the days and times that work best for me. And one of the bullets was, I will pay you $8,000 to never schedule me for a Friday again. I can't do it. And I would pay her $8,000 to never schedule me for Friday again. I can't do it. I've gone 10 years without a Friday. Now I'm doing 15 Fridays. Take me off this planet. I'm done. Do you have anything you want to be vulnerable about?
I mean, nothing that monumental. No.
Well, I mean,
normal stuff. We had COVID.
Yeah, but anything like important that you want to be vulnerable about, or
no, not a thing.
Yeah.
No.
How is everyone in your COVID house?
COVID free now.
This is so 2020.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, it felt that way. A lot of sitting in the basement. A lot of like cutting the grass in a mask type shit. Yeah, it was really fun.
Cutting the
really
grass
cool.
in a mask.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's because the neighborhood kids won't stop fucking running up is the thing. So I'm like,
well, I guess that is a problem.
Like, I have.
Why are they running up while you're cutting grass?
They want to talk to the kids. They want to talk to my kids. They're like, hey,
are the kids cutting grass?
No, the kids are in the house because they have COVID.
Yeah. So sorry. Explain to me.
They run up to me. I'm cutting the grass. And they're like flagging me down, like running up to me while I have a lawnmower going. They're like, hey, and I shut the fucking lawnmower down. Hey, what's going on? Hey, can Gloria come out and play? No, she can't come. No, she had COVID just like yesterday. So no, Gloria's not coming out to play.
I have 2 thoughts about this. One is you're not the front door. They could just go knock on the door and be like, hey, Gloria, are you here? Right?
Well, see, Gloria's not answering the front door because of, COVID.
Yeah. Well, this leads me, I think, to my second thought is you have a lawnmower. That's a blade that spins around real fast. There is a solution to this problem. It's not pretty. It's not necessarily socially accepted, but it is a solution.
It seems like a very Edward Scissorhands solution to the problem. So
yeah, which means quirky and macabre but fun.
Quirky yet effective. By the way, Glory is actually Glory and June are the only two that did not get COVID.
I Glory's got my goddaughter genes.
Apparently,
I injected those into her during her baptismal event, and
it was an event.
It was an event. I wore a bow tie that day.
Thank God it wasn't on a Friday though.
Well, do you want to hear a ghost story?
God, do I? I'm afraid my computer's going to run out of memory at this point. So yeah, we better get it going quick.
There is a town in the United Kingdom, and that town is called, there's only one, and that town is called Preston.
Preston, okay.
Preston, yeah.
Where's Preston, exactly?
I'm glad you asked. It's in Lancashire.
Okay.
Lancashire.
You don't seem super.
Well, it feels like it should have another N in there somewhere, but it doesn't. So that's on me. It's on me.
Okay.
It's Lancashire.
Mm-hmm.
Lancashire.
Mm-hmm.
It's in Lancashire.
If you say it 15 times, then it's yours. So I think
then it shows up here.
Yeah.
So it's in Lancashire, and oh, by the way, this story. So today's story was actually recommended by a listener whose name is Angela Eastwood.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you, Angela, a lot. She also, sorry, Angela, this is just for you, and this is gonna mean nothing to you by the time you hear this because I'm gonna respond to you shortly. But Angela sent us a new message today with even more ghost stories.
Oh, hey.
So Angela's doing God's work out there. Thank you, Angela.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I did see your message. I have not replied yet, but it's gonna happen. But this is Angela. So she's doing great, and I have to say, we actually have been getting quite a lot of tips from the UK. From our listeners, like kind of a lot. And what we have not been getting is a lot of American stories.
So, very skeptical over here. Very skeptical.
I guess so.
Wasn't
always the case.
Mm-hmm.
We had a whole thing in like the 19th century where it was, very in vogue, and now not so much.
No.
So I don't know. I guess that whole American greatness thing is a big lie.
finally rearing its head on the topic of ghost discourse.
That's right. So American friends, listen, it would be help if you want to, you should get in on this, and take some of my burden off of me. In the meantime, we're going to do, I guess, a lot of UK stories because they keep coming in. So this one again is Angela. Thank you so much. Let's see. So this is Preston. So Preston is a city that sits on the River Ribble.
The what? the River Ribble?
Yeah, River.
Okay.
River Ribble.
River Ribble. Okay.
The Ribble River. River Ribble.
Mm-hmm.
River Ribble. What does Ribble mean?
Ribble. I mean, it's what the Hamburglar says. That's all I know.
It's close. It's what the British version says. Yeah.
Ribble. Let's go put these hamburgers in a spanner. No.
Sorry.
Spanner French. Boot. I couldn't remember it.
Oh, in a boot.
Let's go put these hamburgers in a boot. Ribble.
That's a trunk, right?
I think so.
How about a lift?
It's not a wrench. I know that.
Put these burgers in a lift.
Mm-hmm.
Ribble. What are some other fun things we can say about what is almost our majority listener base now? So Preston it's an old. So this is we're so grateful for our UK listeners. I don't understand anything you do. So Preston is an old place, like back to like ancient Roman times.
Mm-hmm. It all is.
But is also a pretty new city. So, okay. And I'm trying real hard to wrap my head around it. But so Preston formerly it formally gained city status in the year of 2002.
Okay.
So I guess it was unincorporated-ish sort of thing until then. This was the 50. It was, gosh, I don't even know what this sentence means. It was the 50th city in the 50th year of Queen Elizabeth II's reign.
I don't have any. Yeah, no idea. I mean,
it's tough. It's tough to unpack.
Like, we just create cities over here whenever there's like a tax advantage.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, hey, we're in a new city. We're called Willowstein or something.
We're called Texas less, please. We have not made any cities during Biden's reign. And I can't help but wonder if we're missing an opportunity. Also, what is it like? Again, this town goes back to fucking ancient Roman times. Like, you're just sitting on this until the 50th year of some monarch's 50th. It's a 50th city in the 50th year. Is it the 50th city in the 50th year, or is it the 50th city and it happened to correspond with the 50th year? Whatever.
I don't know. There's no way they made 2,500 cities in 50 years over there whenever like the whole place is the size of like Rhode Island. I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't know, but I bet they fucking love it. They probably put on bumper stickers. This is a 50th city in the 50th. This is a 50th city in the 50th.
You had to go there. This whole like,
it's hard not to.
Like a city forming in England in the 2000s. I mean, it feels like if they build like a Crate and Barrel in the Vatican City or something like that. Like it's just, it doesn't seem like somebody's not really planning things out very well.
Yeah. And as we'll soon learn, like, again, it's been called Preston for literally centuries. But like, now it's
like no one filed the paperwork. Okay. All right. Yeah.
So
this has been a tax dodge for a millennia or so, but somebody finally got wise.
Oh boy. But so yeah, the town is actually very old. The Romans built roads through this area when they were in power. And so the area came to be called Preston eventually, which is derived from the Old English word for priest's settlement.
Okay.
So it was a pretty cool place.
Yeah, sure sounds like it.
Happening times. In the 1700s, which was a while ago, Edmund Calamy described Preston as, quote, a pretty town with an abundance of gentry in it, commonly called Proud Preston.
Sounds like the most boring ass place on earth.
It sounds fucking insufferable. We've got rich people here who are inflating the name like Proud, like fuck off. This sounds terrible.
Like a town in the middle of nowhere whose only export is like payroll processing software. Like, yes.
But if we walk around with enough canes, we will seem like the landed gentry. We'll be Proud Preston. So they suck, and Preston was, but it was kind of a thing. Preston was the first English town outside of London to be lit by gas. So it is a pretty big deal for reasons I don't it's reasons I don't understand. And those of you who live around this area, I want to be clear. I don't mean to sound rude. I don't care. Please don't send me details about why this was a big deal. It's not germane to the story, and my head has only enough room for things, and most of it now is filled up by working on Friday. So please don't. But where are we here? Oh, so it's a pretty exciting and actually progressive place to live in 19th century terms. You know, they're like, yeah, let's get. How's your toilet doing there? By the way,
it's apparently doing really well.
I tell you, Jeremy emailed me when he was editing the last episode. He's like, I think this sounds pretty good, and he was right. It sounds great. Between you figuring out how to unfuck your audio and him figuring out how to unfuck our audio, last week's episode was really incredible. But he was like, I don't know what to do about Patrick's toilets flushing. And I said, welcome to the club, friend. This is just part of the podcast. It's part of the experience, I think, of listening to this podcast is hearing your family flush toilets and hearing me kind of try to fill time while you have your microphone muted so we don't hear your toilets. Would you agree with that? Or should I continue to kind of, I'll keep going. And
I'm back. Thanks so much, guys. So, anyway, in case anybody wants to do a little bit of math as to whether or not my toilet is sick based on how long it takes to fill the tank, that is literally how long it takes.
That's a long time.
Isn't it? Yeah, I think.
Should you get a better toilet?
Well, we will let the readers do some quick math on that one. It seems bad, but that's also me.
The readers of this podcast. We will turn it over to the readers.
Yeah. There's a transcript that comes out, right?
I don't think so.
I think the ADA requires that, so I don't.
We're going to need another intern. So if you want to do transcripts, please let us know. isthisaghost@gmail.com. Gosh. How is this? This is great because this is a short story. So this is great. So this is the ideal, actually. So it is during this time where things are exciting and progressive in Preston.
Gas. Yeah.
There's gas now. And everyone's like, wow. It's during this time that
I can see this boring ass city at night now. Holy shit.
Hooray. It's during this time that you can see this boring ass city at night that Dorothy Bannister is born.
Should I know her? I don't think
so.
Ring a bell. Okay.
I was leaving space for you. No.
Okay,
I set you up for failure. And that's the thing.
No idea.
On the show.
No idea.
So the Bannisters.
Was she in Love Actually?
Yes.
Oh,
I
know her. I know her. Yeah. Was she the I don't actually know which one she is. But
I'm not sure either, but I think maybe the octopus.
Oh, she was so young.
Maybe, or one of the three lobsters.
Okay.
Lobster 2. Maybe Lobster 2. Maybe Lobster 2. She was.
I've got a picture.
Definitely one of the. Yeah. Okay.
Picture right up here. Stole the pen, by the way.
I think every person who exists in the UK was in Love Actually. So the answer to that question will always be yes. And she's one of them. So the Bannisters live in a neighborhood called Snow Hill. The naming.
It's fine.
Again,
coming from the US, everything here is called Willow something. So I don't really, I can't.
That's true. You can't. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. But it's only Snow Hill for like 3 months out of the year.
Yeah,
max.
Yeah,
I don't know. Whatever.
It's a dumb name, but again,
it's lazy.
It's a world of dumb names.
It's lazy. Yeah, it is a world. You know what? It is a world of dummies. You're right. And I will say this: I would love for us to do a tour sometime in the UK. So can
we not go here?
We should be nicer. No, we're not going to go there clearly, but if we could go, and it could be a tax write-off. And we could see the Cardinals play in London.
That would be the authentic Preston experience to be writing the whole thing off as a text.
Feels real. Hey, UK listeners, if you are interested in attending a live episode of Is This a Ghost, let us know, because the Cardinals, I think, will come back to London in the next few years, probably, right? It's like a rotating thing.
We're also going to need forged work visas. Keep that in mind, because that's going to be critical to the tax write-off part of it.
Yeah, whatever you can forge for us is good.
Yeah.
Just when you email them to us, make sure you use the code word Dr. Brown, because that's what that's our code word to erase traces of everything. So do that. Gosh. Anyway, so Dorothy is born. Dorothy Bannister. So okay, and Dorothy grows up to be very attractive. And I have very in caps.
Like Preston, England attractive, or like
she's like the ScarJo of of the
Lancashire,
of the time
of
in the place.
Tough. I don't know. Reference. Tough. It's tough, but okay. Yeah.
It's like she, at minimum, she is a ScarJo to those people.
Okay, that's fine.
Maybe even to more people. Hard to say. So she's very attractive, and clearly looks are everything. So she's very popular in town because they're like, wow, you are an attractive human.
Yeah. You must be important. Are you important too?
Yeah.
Oh,
should we give you this money? Here's the gold I have in my pocket. Do you want it? I don't know you, but you are so attractive. I assume you should have this more than I should have this. She's so attractive. So she goes by the nickname Dolly. Her name's Dorothy. She goes by Dolly. And she's just, so gosh darn good looking that the local townsfolk refer to her as the Bannister Doll.
That seems, I don't know, like Dolly. Oh, I'm okay with the Bannister Doll. That definitely seems
pretty weird, right?
Yeah.
I
mean, it sounds either like a weird noise punk band or probably a ghost. As frankly, I mean, it really does.
Well, it's like which came first, the ghost or the name? And we may never know. Like, did the name cause the ghost? Because it's a great name for a ghost, and they were calling her this early on. So maybe they forced her to become a ghost by calling her this.
It's like whenever you name your son Jeeves. Like, I mean,
well, he now waits on people. Yeah, he's
sorry.
Yeah,
I want to be a doctor. There's no Dr. Jeeves. What the fuck are you talking about? That's not happening.
No, but can you carry a tray? That's great. Great.
Interesting. You take that very naturally, don't you? Well.
Nature versus nurture. This whole question is suddenly solved. So Dolly's father was a man named John Bannister. And by the way, so this is one of those moments where it's like, hey, if you do your own research, which you don't have to do, I do that for you. If you're ever concerned that I'm not doing a good job, you might go out and do your own research, and Godspeed. We welcome that. If you do that, you'll find that most tellings of this story suggest that John Bannister was the mayor of Preston. Doesn't actually seem to be true. You got to dig pretty deep, as I did, because I love this show. I love what I do. I take it very seriously. And he was not the mayor of the town. He was actually the head of a house of correction at this time.
It was the warden? Okay.
Well, yes, but they called it the governor.
Oh, okay.
Which is how I think we get the misunderstanding he was a mayor.
Yeah.
Like, he's a governor? Oh, well, we would translate that to mayor. No, he's a governor of a basically a prison.
Okay. This is also kind of the era where the mayor just names a town after himself.
Correct.
Like that's pretty, so
yeah.
So
yeah.
If this doesn't suddenly become, Bannister England, then it's pretty clear that he doesn't have enough juice there.
He has a real job. He probably even works on a Friday, which is insane. So he governs this house of corrections. He's the governor of that, which I assume means when people see him in town, they say things like, "Hello, governor." So John Bannister, he would have hated that because he's a very serious man.
Right. Yeah.
He hates jokes. He hates loud noises. He hates accents.
And everyone's so mad because that's like how they greet everybody. That's like how they greet like their dog.
I mean, you walk down the street,
mailman.
Like,
finally, like, no, I'm the actual governor, and he's the one that doesn't like it. So,
hello, governor. Yeah.
He's like, you don't have to do it twice. You don't have to do it twice.
Yeah, but every other person's like, hello, governor. It's So I sympathize with his plight. Sure. He, again, as I said, he probably also works Fridays, so I'm on his side. That's terrible. John Bannister was a very serious man and a strict disciplinarian. Now his wife died not long after Dolly was born, so it was just the two of them, and he was very protective of Dolly, and he was very strict. Now, as I noted before, she's a real babe. So she's got something going on, and he has eyes to see this,
right?
And so, as a strict parent, he's also like, hey, you can't go on dates with people. People are going to want to date you. You can't do that. That's a no. Yeah, he's one of those.
parenting 101, that is the best way
I think
to keep your daughter from dating is to tell them that they may never date anyone. Yeah. Definitely don't do that.
Yeah. And if you want them to not dance, you tell them dancing is illegal. And I learned that from Footloose. If you keep Kevin Bacon out of your town, that's going to hold. If you let Kevin Bacon in, that will fall apart. Don't let Kevin Bacon come to your town is the moral of the story. Anyway, so he's very protective. He doesn't let her be courted or whatever. He doesn't let her go to Pound Town. Which go ahead. No, sorry, go ahead.
I just want to remind our listeners that the name of the dollar store in England is Pound Town.
Yes, yes, this is exactly what I was going to say. So Angela, who recommended this story, as part of the story, she was also like, hey, by the way, I live next to a dollar store.
I'm sorry, but how did she phrase it?
And she says it's called Poundland.
Oh.
And she wanted to make it very clear
that is so much worse.
Poundland and not Pound Town. Now, it is worse.
Oh, that is so much worse. That makes it seem like a
it's an entire continent of pounding.
Yeah.
She was very adamant. And Angela, she seems really cool. So she, at one point, she told me that something was in like some Lancashire or whatever. And I wrote back, I was like, why are there so many shires in your country? Like there's too many shires. I can't pronounce all these different shires. Why are there so many shires in a country? And she very quickly wrote back to confuse the Yorks. So that's a very solid joke. So she's doing great. But she did think that it would set the record straight to that's say, fair. Actually, it's Poundland. But I'm with you. I think that's it doesn't rhyme. That's true. But boy,
I think it's pretty. In my mind, it probably pretty clearly was called Pound Town for like 20 years, and then it was just like, oh, guys, Americans found out about coming over, and people are making like
hello, governor. All these Americans are coming over and saying, oh, they're taking the pictures, put it on the TikTok. I guess is how that conversation probably went. I would assume.
Really? Exactly.
Yeah.
Again, but for the record, Poundland, not as good. Not as good.
I do like
and also rhyme. Worse.
Yeah, it is. It's exactly. It's not as good and worse. Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you, I guess, Angela, for that.
Poundland seems like it's like the place that like the Care Bears, like Care Bear Land, would be like in constant battle with.
I hate to say this, but I also had a Care Bears visual of this when I read Poundland. And I hate that about myself. I hate that about yourself.
Well,
I hate that for us.
We're in good company.
It does ring true.
So anyway, I also don't want to go to Poundland, but that's fine.
I'm into it. So one day John comes home from work and Dolly breaks some hard news to him, and she says,
I've been to Pound Town. I'm so sorry.
Well, she says, hey, Dad, look, dude, please don't get mad, but I am pregnant. And John goes, bug fuck. He is so angry. He's in an absolute rage.
And which fucking Care Bear? You just tell me.
It was the sad one, right? It was the blue.
Had to be,
It's got to be the sad one with the cloud and the range one. Yeah.
It was that emo fucking Care Bear. I told you to stay away from his land.
Yep. Boy. So this is the last joke I assume any of us will make for several minutes because this gets kind of dark. So
okay.
He's very angry because this is going to make him look so bad.
Clearly.
It's one of those things. Yep. And he tells her she's bringing shame to her mother's memory. All that, whatever. He's furious. He's so mad. He's screaming at her. He grabs her by the hair. He drags her out into the street.
Ooh.
And he ties her to a tree in the garden, and he starts to whip her as punishment.
Jeez.
It does get worse from here. If you want to skip ahead like 30 or 60 seconds, that's that's a good time for that. So he's really going, he's really into it, and he's doing this a lot. The gutter is flowing red with the blood from her back. And he keeps going until he literally exhausts himself. So he's, which again is, whatever. It's a thing that we talk about sometimes on this podcast for different reasons, and this is one of them. And it's very bad. And once he's tired, he's like, this is enough. I've got my anger out. He orders one of his staff to cut her down and bring her back inside. They'll figure this out in the morning. Yeah. So yes. So the servant goes, he cuts her down. But before they can even get her inside, she dies. She's lost so much blood. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, well, this story has gotten as bad as it can be, and it won't get worse. So thank goodness we've made it this far. But I'm here to tell you this is wrong. Because later, I don't know how much later, but some later, her father found out that the reason Dolly was pregnant was not because she had had a romantic relationship, but because she had been sexually assaulted.
Oh, okay.
And she didn't get a chance to tell him that because
because of all the physical abuse, right?
Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So it's very bad. But Dolly, the upshot is that Dolly passes away, and she is buried in the graveyard at Holy Trinity Church in Trinity Square. That's where they lay her. Now, one evening, sometime later, not a lot of time later.
So I'm sorry, not to kind of interrupt too much. Are there consequences here? I'm a little.
Well, she did die, so that's one.
No, not for her. That's her consequences.
Oh, for the dad.
Pretty clear, yeah. For the person that murdered her in the street, that's kind of my. I see. Wondering. Right.
No.
It's one of those kinds of towns.
Yes. Thank you for asking. The answer is nope. It's so not. It does get worse. Story. Yeah,
it gets very worse. Okay.
Correct.
Cool.
I did warn you. So she goes. So she's buried there. Gosh, where are we? This is great. One evening, sometime later, a neighbor of the Bannisters then saw a beautiful young woman walking up the road in Snow Hill. And this young woman she was gorgeous, but she was also drenched in blood. Okay. And her face made her seem super fucking furious.
Okay. All right.
So as this,
I like where this is going.
Yeah. So as this person is watching this woman walking up the road, she realizes. This is the woman
you avoid, by the way. Yeah. Like beautiful woman covered in blood.
20,000%. Yes. Correct. So this onlooker realizes that she's looking at Dolly, at the Bannister Doll herself. And she knows her, so she recognizes her. She sees like, oh shit, this is her. However, you're dead. So this is the first ghost sighting. She's like, oh fuck, this is bad. And so the woman cries out. I don't know if she was like calling out to her or just like, which is what I would do if I realized I was looking at a ghost.
While running and screaming.
Correct, yeah. Fall, tumble, roll downhill. That's my whole thing. So she cries out. When she did, the ghost of Dolly turned to look at her, and they locked eyes. And then the ghost disappears. Now, the next morning, a young man was found in Preston, murdered right in the town center.
Mm.
And his skull and his rib cage had been crushed to a pulp.
Hmm.
And no one could determine how it had happened. There was no sign of any actual weapon used.
Mm-hmm.
Other than the fact that his skull and ribcage had been crushed,
right?
Which seems like some evidence, but they were like, it's not a hammer, it's not like a blunt object, it's not, they could not. They were like, he's crushed, he's extremely dead in a very concrete way, but the bones are such that it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Like, despite the apparent legality of murder in this town, everyone is a little on edge now because
because now, if you can explain the murder, you could be the murderer, as the saying goes, I think. So this happens. So the police they're very confused and they are on edge. 2 weeks after this, a second man is found murdered in the exact same way: crushed ribs, crushed skull. But there is no actual evidence of like bludgeoning.
Right.
And so everyone's like, what the fuck is happening? No one knows what's happening.
Maybe an elephant. That's all I can think of. That's that, it's.
They were like, is it an elephant? And someone was like, no, if an elephant did this, you would see
like, no,
this crack.
Exactly. The only elephant in town has an alibi and it is airtight. He was standing on one of those little stools being scared by a mouse all night.
He had a feather in his trunk. And when we asked him to please come to the station, he flew away. And that's something we should investigate because that shouldn't happen. But he's a fucking flying elephant. So I don't think it's him. So, boy, where are we? 2 weeks later. Oh, yeah. So 2 weeks later, another one is found, and more people had seen Dolly's ghost walking up Snow Hill during that time. So people are putting the pieces together, and they're like, "Holy shit! Dolly is out. She's out. She's unleashed, and she is killing young men." A few weeks after this, a third body is found. Same exact thing. Young man, skull crushed, rib cage crushed. Doesn't match any sort of weapon, but people had seen Dolly walking around that night. So Dolly seems to have returned from the grave to murder the young man of Preston.
How far did she get?
Only 3.
Well, I mean,
so after 3 years, her thirst for vengeance was over. And I've got a couple of thoughts here. One, it could be one. So she's walking up the road of Snow Hill, like trying to get to her house, apparently, is how this is going. She might be trying to go kill her dad for really.
Clearly, yeah.
That's my number one. Yeah.
Something you let slide.
But these guys are like in the way and they're like, hey, I know you're covered in blood, but you're pretty cute.
There's no way you get to Mr. Bannister.
Oh, you've got a lot of blood, but I like the way your jib looks. Would you like to go get a spot of tea?
What's that elephant you have there? Oh, shit.
Oh no. So it seems like maybe she's trying to get to her dad to kill him, but people keep getting in the way. That's a possibility. Also possible that, and I hate to go back to the topic of the assault, but it may be also possible that she did not know who had raped her. And maybe was just kind of finding and attacking men who fit the description of what she did know, what she saw and what she noticed until she was like, oh, this is the one. Yeah. And it took her 3 tries. And that's, I'm
sure nobody's super innocent here. I mean, that's, we've all done things that we deserve to get our, yeah.
Just to be clear, we're pro Dolly on this podcast.
But I'm sure all those guys deserve to get their chest stomped in.
It feels right. It feels right. But even though the murders stopped, Dolly herself was seen more and more often.
Mm-hmm.
So people started seeing her almost every single night walking up the road in Snow Hill.
Still angry, or was she more like?
She's still angry. She seems less angry. She does still have blood on her, but she's not like spurting blood out of her. So she's somewhat sated at this point, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, for everybody, obviously.
Yeah. Her father was kind of put off by this whole thing because I really think it seems like she's coming for him, right? Like
I would say so. Yeah.
He's very stressed out. He dies not too long after all this happens from heart trouble, which does make a lot of sense.
Stomped in or something.
Yeah.
Or...
No.
He had heart trouble. His heart was compressed to the size of a sheet of paper. So
that seems troublesome. So
yeah, we're going to call that natural causes.
Yes. So he dies, and soon after he dies, another family moves into the house, and on their very first night, they were accosted by the ghost of Dolly Bannister. She appeared in their rooms and started to smash things around the house. She's a very angry ghost for, again, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
She's earned all that anger. And then she appeared also the second night, and they were like, fuck this. And they left. So they were in there for 2 nights, and they're like, nope, absolutely not.
We're out of vases, out of flower pots.
Yeah. We will be smashed next if we don't get out of here. So the next people to move into the house, they managed to make it for 3 nights. But then they too were like, absolutely not. This ghost is destroying our world. So she's still around. In the 1960s, a milkman was making a delivery in the area early one morning when he saw the bloody ghost of Dolly. And he was so scared that he quit his job that day.
Wow.
Never returned to Preston.
Or to milkmanning in general. That was it.
He may have been a milkman somewhere else. I think milkmanning was a pretty good gig for about 6 years in the 60s. So
I've already sired too many children in this town. What's the next town over? Blinkenshire? Yeah, Blinkenshire. That's the one.
Yep. I'm your milkman. To this day, people still claim to see her walking up this hill in Snow Hill, covered in blood and just fucking furious. She's still very mad. And she is notable as one of the very few ghosts across all records that is actually connected to the murder of people, which we've talked about here. Like a lot of times, ghosts, hey man, ghosts are scary. Ghosts are terrible. Ghosts will fuck you up, but they don't seem to actually murder you much. This is a rare exception.
I guess unless you wanted to, finger a ghost for a murder that you committed, of course that would be.
I mean, it seems pretty easy to do that. Yes, that's correct. But shy of that, this is a ghost murderer, and that's all we have. So that's the story.
Hopefully satisfied for now, though.
Oh God, I fucking hope so. I hope so. Hey, we have a lot of UK listeners, as we've talked about already. So if you have been murdered by the Bannister Doll, please let us know. Is this a ghost at gmail.com? Please let us know what the circumstances of your murder were. And we would love to talk about that on the next episode.
Make sure your phone doesn't get smashed into a million pieces when you get stomped out.
Yeah, it's true. So if you could be like, hey, 1 sec real quick, I want to send this text. That would be, just helpful for us and our content and stuff. That'd be great. But that is the story of the Bannister Doll. What do you think? Any notes, any questions, any concerns?
3 murders is a lot of murders. I guess
it's way more murders than any other ghost we've seen.
I would say so. So yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a fun town. It seems like maybe there's a reason it didn't get incorporated until the 2000s. Maybe
I think we'll skip it on our tour for sure. We're not going there. So yeah. And thank you to Angela for suggesting it. and for making it a black spot on our map that we will not ever visit. Pat, last week I asked you if you wanted to memorize the credits that we do now. That we have some folks. So, do you want to take a stab?
Sure. Is This Ghost is brought to you by Smith Show Productions. Most of the funny jokes come from Patrick Dean. The remainder of the jokes come from Clayton Smith. Our audio editor is Jeremy Montoya. Jen is our video editor. What's Jen's last name again? Swanson.
Okay, take it from top. Take it from top. Yeah.
Is This a Ghost is brought to you by Smith Show Productions. Most of the funny jokes come from Patrick Dean, myself. The remainder of them come from Clayton Smith. Jeremy Montoya is our audio engineer. Jen Swanson is our video engineer. And hopefully you come back next week to find out what is hard to believe. What is hard to believe?
It doesn't have to be hard to believe. Could be easy to believe. You don't know. You don't know what we're doing next week.
Yeah, you have no idea.
But I'll tell you, that was great. Hey, you did a great job.
Thank you. It only took me 2 tries. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, yeah. But we Doc Browned the first one, so only took 1 try. Wink. And thank you everyone so much for listening. We will see you again here next week on Is This a Ghost? Okay. I was thinking while I was gone, we should, the thing about having a safe word for Jeremy and for Jen, this is also for Jen, I keep forgetting, we have 2 editors. We went from 0 to 2, which is an infinite increase, is that we can't use it as a joke because that defeats the entire purpose.
I was serious. I was, whatever. Okay, fine.
Yeah, no, and that's fine. So Jeremy, if you have not deleted it, now you're listening to this, and Jen also, delete that. Anytime anyone says it, here's what we'll do. So the safe word is Dr. Brown. But if one of us wants to override a Dr. Brown, we have to say Alex P. Keaton. Okay, so this is the system now. Everyone write this down.
It's a lot. No, this is a lot for me to write down.
Yeah, but do you see, it's interesting because it's connected, through Michael J. Fox, but it's not so connected that you wouldn't accidentally say them together.
Okay. Okay, I can see.
Okay, great. So we're all, okay. Good. This is easy. Great. Yeah. Should we start?
Well, and what I love about it is by referencing Alex P. Keaton, what you're doing is you're going back in time before Dr. Brown. So,
well, I think actually though what you're doing is a simultaneous thing because he actually worked on both of those at the same time.
Ooh.
Somewhat famously, I think he had to work. He did went nights. He worked for Back to the Future, and during the days he was shooting is it Family Ties? Is that the name of that one?
Family Ties, that's the one, right? Yeah.
So he was not sleeping for all the shooting of it's a wild story actually.
If you ever gone back and seen that, like they have some scenes on, I think it's on the DVD extras, whatever, of the scenes they shot with Eric Stoltz. Because like Eric Stoltz,
yeah, I forgot
he was the original.
Yeah.
He was originally in it, and they were like, eventually he was just like, I don't really want to do this anymore, and they just parted ways. They're like, yeah, you're really bad at this, and they were like, oh hey, it was on TV last night, and they just literally fished out Alex P. Keaton off Family Ties and cast him.
That's great.
So,
and what a good decision.
Where would we be without that? Where would we be?
My childhood would have been at least 4% different.
I would have had no idea what a gigawatt was. Which,
and
okay, by now I probably would have. But back then,
okay, yeah, we get it. You're an engineer. Okay, you're cool. We fine.